Priced at 14,999 rupees, the Gionee A1 Lite tries to create a space for itself in the very competitive sub 15,000 smartphone segment. According to Gionee, the USP of the A1 Lite is the 20 megapixel front-facing camera. On paper, it seems to have the same setup Gionee used on the A1 Plus, but image quality is lower. Images look good only under ample lighting conditions. The camera captures decent amount of details and the dynamic range is average. Like the 20 megapixel front shooter, the 13 megapixel rear camera is again decent. It shares DNA with the rear camera of the Gionee A1 we reviewed earlier and produces good quality images most of the times. It captures good amount of details and has almost true to source color reproduction in ample lighting conditions. The dynamic range is decent as well, but the soft focus does persist, although it is not as prevalent as it is on the front camera. Low light image quality is a hit or miss, as sometimes the camera focuses right and sometimes you end with slightly blurred shots which would look good on social media but won't look good to those with trained eyes. While the camera is rather unreliable at times, we have no complaints with the build quality of the device. The Gionee A1 Lite is ergonomic and feels well built. The position of the fingerprint sensor, power button and volume rocker is just right, and all the three work quite well. Talking about the outdated hardware, we are not very happy about the fact that Gionee A1, which is a 15,000 rupee smartphone, does not have a full HD 1080p display. The color reproduction is on the cooler side by default, but you can shift to a warmer tone from the settings. Besides that, the viewing angles are decent and at 590 lux, brightness is also good enough. But screen resolution leaves us wanting. While it is usable, or rather, you will eventually get used to it, the user interface on the Gionee A1 Lite has the same privacy concern we pointed out on the A1 Plus. As soon as you sign into the phone, you are greeted with the carefree launcher asking for permissions for your contacts, mail information, phone calls and send messages. Apps like Gallery require an internet connection to work, which is again somewhat annoying. As we mentioned earlier, the camera UI is a little sluggish and we think the biggest culprit here is the MediaTek 6753 processor, which in 2017 can be considered ancient. Gionee has coupled it with 3GB of RAM to provide better experience, but the short story is, it hasn't worked. With more than 10 apps open, the phone starts to lag and stutter even when you are just browsing the web. The problem becomes even more prevalent when you open up a game or two. Heat is the enemy of battery life and performance, and hence the 4000 mAh battery is unable to live up to our expectations. In our PC Mark battery test, the A1 Lite lasted for just 6 hours and 45 minutes, which is quite low compared to what most of its competitors achieve. That said, the phone will last for at least a full working day for most users, but at the same time it takes more than an hour and a half to charge completely. Overall, we can say that the Gionee A1 was decent, the Gionee A1 Plus was average, and this, the A1 Lite, finds itself somewhere in between. It's just yet another budget smartphone and it offers nothing for us to recommend it. It does not have the performance to stand against its peers and its hardware is just not good enough. The only silver lining for this phone are the two cameras, but those alone cannot make it a good enough proposition. So who is the A1 Lite for? Well, it's meant for people buying selfie-centric devices offline. But even for them, we would recommend the myriad options available. We would recommend the other options available both online and offline. Thanks for watching and don't forget to like and share this video.